Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today's reading, number 2, is going to be why did they break up? So we're going to look at somebody you may have your eye on, or somebody you're just interested in that you're not in contact with, to just find out what happens to their relationship, just to see if you're unsure, and it may answer some questions for you. So you've got 3 piles. We're going to use the same pack of cards for each pile. Pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. So when you're ready, we'll get going. Okay, pile number 1, let's go. Why did this person that you're interested in break up with someone else? So this is the relationship between the people that you're asking about. I think that it has been a sort of a relationship that has almost been an attraction from going out together, or seeing each other out together, or being in the same group, or living in the same house, or like student household, or being out at a party together. It's like some building, some event, or just some connection in a group, and this person has caught their eye because they have been quite, I'm not going to say flamboyant, quite the opposite. I think the person has caught their eye because they've been actually quiet. There's some sort of attraction that's gone on between them that has been a good opportunity. It's basically hit them in the face because they're sharing some sort of celebration or building or meeting or place that they basically meet together, and this person has been there and they've been kind and basically open to them. The energy between the 2 people that you're asking about is something that possibly has built up over time, and then that's how it's actually got some sort of sexual component to it. But I don't think it's something, the sexual bit hasn't been immediate. It's like something that has grown as they've got to know each other, but it's also become a little bit manipulative. I can't say who's been manipulative, but it's almost, because you've got here the Devil card, and this person's got like a puppet on a string, and somebody down here who's not looking very happy with the whole situation. So what started out as fun and loving and just a connection, from sort of emotional connection, has basically grown and been worked upon until it's become a sort of a sexual feeling, but has then started to feel uncomfortable too. I'm guessing the person that you're asking about. Let's just put a few out to find a bit more. Okay, I think that the problem is that the person that you're asking about, or one of them, has wanted more independence. They like to have time to themselves, they like to move, they possibly like to travel, and they've felt this feeling that the relationship has become a bit too intense, a bit too more trouble than it's worth. If you know your person already, you will know whether that's them or the other person. Because you've got the 9 of Pentacles here, which is a woman who's in her garden. She's quite happy with herself. She doesn't really need that much company. She's quite content. And this woman here on her own, looking and planning. So this person has felt, I think, slightly trapped and held down by the situation, which has had some sort of, it could have just been sex. It could have eventually ended up as an initial attraction, ended up sexual, and then this person started feeling trapped. Okay, I think at the moment there's still some contact between these 2 people, but I think it's minimal. It could possibly just be like writing, or some sort of small contact. They could still study together. There could be just some sort of exchange of money in some way, or exchanging like study books, or just some sort of, there's still some sort of contact there, but the person who's felt trapped has pulled themselves out mentally. That's why they've broken off. They've basically almost gone inside themselves to get away from the situation, heal from the situation, and they're working on themselves. They're not interested in giving out to this person anymore. They've just pulled back I get the impression the person you're asking about is quite independent. Right, as you're asking this, I'm going to put what their feelings for you are, because you possibly wouldn't be asking unless you had feelings for this person. So their feelings for you are a feeling that you have both fallen out too. There's a feeling of feeling down, as if you've hurt each other through some sort of arguments. And I get the general feeling that I think if you made contact again, they would possibly think that you could just argue again and then you would hurt each other again. Why I've got this is that you've got the Five of Wands, which is a group of people arguing, and then you've got the Five of Pentacles, which is basically feeling shut out, low self-esteem, just feeling cold and just not good. Not good feeling there. That's what they're thinking, their feelings for you, is if they made contact again, it could be end up in a fight in some way. So my advice for you would be to walk away from this situation. That's it, really. Just basically walk away. So just to sum this up, I think that the two people that you are inquiring about have got together through almost like a repeated situation, like they go to the same club, they go to the same party, they work in the same building, and it's been happy and it's been fun and there's been an emotional connection. And I think this has developed over time. It might have been one of those relationships that build up and then it becomes sexual. But I think that your person that you're inquiring about has felt trapped and a little bit controlled. It's been a little bit more than they bargained for and they've pulled out. They may possibly be in contact, but I think your person has cut themselves off, is working on themselves. If you two got together again, I wonder whether they would fear that it could just basically not be a good idea at the moment, because they are either working on themselves or you have argued in the past. So they're going to let that possibly roll for a bit until they feel that the situation is worth a second chance or a second go. Your advice is basically, my initial advice is walk away, but you've got the Two of Pentacles here, so you could possibly make contact if you wanted to, but I would make it playful, I would make it fun. Because this person, to me, gives the feeling they're not really into diving into a new relationship at the moment. Okay. Thank you, pile number one. I hope that makes sense. Let's go to pile number two. Hi there, pile number two. So why did the person you're thinking about break up with a different partner? Let's have a little nosy. I'm sure this is not ethical, but let's have a little nosy and see why they broke up with this other person. Okay. I wonder whether the situation that your person and their other partner were brought together may have something to do with some sort of spiritual community, some sort of like yoga class or meditation class, or a school situation where they've had to work together. They could possibly be studying something like psychology or philosophy or some of those sort of sciences where you look inwardly. If it's not that, the situation could possibly be something that is, they've met somewhere. It could be a library, because you've got the Hierophant, which is that could be a building and normally a traditional type of building. And you've got the Hermit here, which is something quiet and reflective, and it could be studying. So I wonder whether they've met each other. If it's not some sort of situation that is like a building or like a yoga class, they've met each other through a connection like it's traditional and inward looking. it's been either a quiet situation or a sort of conventional situation. So it could be anything. Basically, except you might know this already, it could be church, it could be studying in the library, it could be basically sat down reading a book. There's a myriad of things it could be there, and so I'm going to leave that there. But I think the energy between them is emotional disaster, really. You've got the Tower, you've got the Moon, so it's like turbulent emotions, it's things below the surface, things that aren't discussed, and basically what's happened here, they've just volcanoed, and that's why the situation is ending, because of something that's been left unsaid and basically has been spat out. And it's just rocked the relationship. It's been too much to handle. It's been a shock, and it's been things that have been brought up that I don't think either of them really wanted to bring up. It could actually have been an argument where something quite cutting was said, or just some sort of something, not so much cutting because there's no sword cards here, but something that hit home and hit deep. I'm patting my heart when I'm saying this. Right, let's go on to... I hope it's getting too dark. Maybe you can see it's actually thunder and lightning outside at the moment. It's really quite nice, but it doesn't seem too dark from what I can see for you. Right. Right. This won't ring true for many, but it possibly could. There could have been some sort of... The relationship could have ended because somebody else is pregnant, or there could have been a pregnancy scare, or there could just generally have been... I'm going to keep going. I will. This is the problem. I'm going to show you what I'm seeing, and then we'll keep going and see if it makes more sense. This is the problem. It's like the situation has basically come to its natural conclusion, but you've also got the Empress card here. For it to be a problem, it could be something like an unwanted pregnancy, or somebody in a situation who's pregnant that isn't part of that relationship and they've had to basically pull out. That's my second thought there. So there could have been some sort, it could be anything again, it could be some sort of pregnancy scare, which would go very well with the Tower and the Moon cards here. And then maybe this person's realised that it's not really what they wanted. It could be anything. It could be basically that the female in the relationship has decided that that's not what they wanted and pulled out. It's just more than they could handle, and it's basically exploded. I think what's happening now is I think that the female relationship is probably the one that's being more instigating the relationship, or trying to reinstigate the relationship, who has more passion or enthusiasm for the relationship. But there's this need to be fair. If this is a situation where there has been a pregnancy involved, I think it's almost as if it's almost as if it shocked the pair of them, and what they're trying to do is deal with it quite maturely and to be quite fair about the situation. And I think the female in the relationship is actually being quite open and honest and trying to do the best for everybody. So it may not be the fact it's unwanted, or I don't know, actually it could be unwanted, but I think they're dealing with it maturely. If this is just a possibility, I'm going to go over it when all the cards are out, because I will see other possibilities, because that's only going to stick for a few people. I'm going to go on to their feelings for you. The only other another possibility here for a problem could be their mother. Their mother could have almost called an end to the situation, which happens quite often. If it's not, okay, I'm trying to think, because pregnancy is such a specific thing, but it's something that is emotional and blown up. Either your person has come to a conclusion, or the other person in the relationship has come to a conclusion that the attraction isn't there, because it's Venus as well, so the attraction could have just not been there for them. or there could be some sort of mother involved, which wouldn't surprise me with the Hierophant card here. Or it could, it could be a pregnancy either in the situation that they're in or outside the situation. But there's a need to be fair, and there's like an honest and there's like a direct approach to this. So in some way, I think they still might be dealing with the situation, or trying to make sure that the situation is equal and open and discussed and fair, and they've parted in ways which have made it quite amicable. Right, feelings for you. Okay, this person is really, really trying. You can't get more controlling cards here. This person is trying to control their feelings for you in such a huge, strong way. The Strength card here is basically having strong, passionate feelings and trying to hide them or trying to keep them down. The Emperor card here doesn't give anything away. They like to be in control. This person has a huge control issue with regards to you and revealing what they feel. So my advice to you would be, my advice to you would be is to heal yourself, to get over what has hurt you in the past, and to get back to your own open and loving and giving self, because you have a lot to give. And this person recognises this, and is probably why they are actually so controlled. So to sum up pile number 2, the situation involves something which is, where this couple have come together, is something which is a mixture of being quite orthodox or conventional, but also almost quite withdrawn and reflective. So it could be, as I said, like a library or a school connection. It could be just a yoga class, or just generally personalities could be quite orthodox and reflective. The situation has ended through what I'm only guessing is something that's quite volatile, that is where emotions are heavily involved. And you've got the Empress and the World card here, so it's come to a conclusion through something to do with either attraction or pregnancy or mothers. And I think the way they're both dealing with this is to try and make the situation fair. The female may be the one that's instigating this fairness, or being more proactive in this situation, just to basically move on and move away if it's fallen to pieces and they've broken up. Your person's hiding huge feelings for you, but I think they're huge passionate feelings for you. But I think your advice is to be who you are and be open and loving, because that's probably what they're finding so overwhelming anyway, and why they're hiding it. But I think that because you've got the 9 of Swords here too, so I think there's some hurt here involved with you. So I do think you need to just take time to yourself to heal, because I don't think you're going to get much from this person until they have sorted themselves out a little bit and a little bit more open with you. Okay, thank you for listening. Pile number 2. Okay, are you ready? Pile number 3. Hi, pile number 3. Let's find out, why did they break up? Why did the person you're asking about break up with that other partner? Okay. Right, okay, this is what I'm picking up. I think that the situation involved between your person could be 3 things. It could either be that there was lack of attraction there, that initially may have been there, but wasn't sustainable. I don't think they actually felt it after a period of time. So I do think that your person or the other person basically fell out of attraction with this person, or there was some sort of pregnancy involved, which possibly could have not been wanted at that time, because you've got the Empress and the 5 of Cups, or there could have been some sort of interference from a mother figure or another female. But either way, what's happened is the situation's made either one or both of them feel down in the dumps or unworthy or unlovable or given them low self-esteem or made them feel cut out. I think the energy of the whole situation was something that both of them jumped into without thinking and actually caused probably more harm and hurt than they thought it would do, because you have got the Nine of Swords and the Five of Pentacles. Both of these cards talk of low self-esteem and anxiety and basically sleepless nights through something that hasn't worked out well, and they're overthinking it. And then you've got the Fool here, which is a card that jumps in without thinking. And you've got this sort of either mother card, pregnancy card, or values. Perhaps their values were different, or perhaps they just basically, or one of them didn't find the other one attractive enough to carry on. Let's have a look to see if we can get some more from this. I think that the attraction, I think they have basically, there's not been that strong pull there, because the problem comes across as the Magician, and the Magician card can do anything he or she sets their mind to. They can basically make themselves fall in love with somebody, they can sustain a relationship with somebody they don't find attractive. What they want to do, they can do it. But you've got the Five of Swords here, so to be honest, I don't think they've been able to do it. And it's got something to do with Venus. It's got something to do with the other person's values, or the way that they look, or a pregnancy, or their mother. And there's some way that they can't, your person hasn't been able to twist this relationship round to suit themselves and deal with it. They've thought that that's not worth it to me anymore. I'm just going to have to move on. There has been upset and tears with this, though, and I do think that either both of them have come out with lower self-esteem that they went into a relationship with, and there's been a lot of sleepless nights. So it's not actually, I don't think there's been a very pleasant situation for either. Right, what's happening now? I think that they're basically looking at this, both of them are looking at this situation as just basically the way that things go, and life goes ups and downs, and your person, I don't know whether they're giving to them financially in some way, but they're moving away but still providing for them. I don't know whether it's providing practically, like they still are talking to each other and giving advice, or whether there's money involved, but there's something practical and grounded, and an understanding that the situation is basically just something karmic that brought them together for that time, and they've moved on. But I don't think your person's got bad feelings about the person. I think that they still like to make sure that the person is looked after in some way. There's not like horrendously harsh feelings here. It's something that just hasn't worked out. So their feelings for you. Their feelings for you are quite defensive at the moment. They're trying to deal with you in some sort of logical manner that is making sure they're not involved with you emotionally. I don't know why, but they're almost as if they're trying to cut themselves off and just deal with things that they've thought out well, they can cope with. This is Magician energy as well. This person almost it's not a control thing, but it is. They don't want to, there's no feelings of wanting to express themselves emotionally or physically at the moment towards you. It's just a feeling of, I need to cope with this, I'm just going to put up my barriers and think about how I can cope with it logically. So it's not romantic at the moment. There could be a reason for that. It could just be the state that they're in at the moment, and it might change. So my advice to you would be, crikey, my advice to you would be basically take the bull by the horns and shock yourself. And I don't mean this is like, you shouldn't give advice on tarot because you can do something horrendous, which I don't advise at all. I do advise that you basically, if you're still thinking about this relationship, what I would advise you to do is do something that's totally different, that makes the best out of you, that you think would shock everybody. You know, when you sort of look back, or this person, see if you're still interested in this person, you're still asking about them, this person is going to look and think, oh my gosh, look what they've done. Or, you know, you've got to harness the energy that you have inside you and do something really, when I say big, just something that you really want to do that shows who you are, and because this is quite a powerful pile. And if this person is cut off from you, you need to do something for yourself that makes you feel good. You know, something positive and something that basically expresses who you are. And I think if you want this person back in your life because you're asking about them, I don't know whether you're interested, it's like success is the best revenge sort of pile here. Not in a nasty way or a vindictive way. It's basically do something that makes you feel bigger. Because this relationship just hasn't worked out. And I don't think they're quite ready to move into another relationship yet. And I think your advice is that I wonder whether there's something on your mind that you want to do with yourself that you know is needed to do. And I mean in a positive way, to bring yourself into your being and what you need to do rather than think about a relationship. That's the feeling I get from this. It's almost like a passionate inner desire that it needs to be directed, and it needs to be done in a big way rather than just fanning around thinking about it. Just to do it. Okay, pile number 3. I hope that helps in some way. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope to see you again. Bye.